Welcome, everyone, to the first night of the ReachOut Science Slam Semi-Finals. I'm Megan from the Museum of Science. My pronouns are she, her, and I am thrilled to be your host for this event. Now, tonight, we'll watch as 6 scientists compete to see who can tell the best science story in just 3 minutes. All of them are part of the ReachOut Science Communication Challenge, a Museum of Science program designed to train scientists to share their work with public audiences and then put that training to the test through some friendly competition here at the ReachOut Science Slams. Now, we have 18 ReachOut semifinalists. 6 of them are here tonight, and the others will compete on April 13th and April 20th. So don't forget to join us for those events as well. Now, all of the slammers have been working super hard preparing to share their 3-minute stories with all of you, and to see who will move on to the ReachOut Finals on May 4th. Now, tonight, 2 of our slammers will be chosen to advance to the finals, and 1 will be selected by you, our audience. So stick around and we'll tell you how to vote for your favorite science slammer towards the end of the program. Now, the other finalist will be chosen by our incredible panel of expert judges. Joining our judging panel for this semifinal round, we have 3 outstanding leaders in science communication who are here to lend their expertise and mentor our slammers tonight. Emily Calandrelli is an aerospace engineer turned science communicator, Emmy nominee, and host of the Netflix show Emily's Wonder Lab. Raven Baxter, also known as Raven the Science Maven, is a molecular biologist, expert science communicator, and has been featured in Fortune magazine's 40 Under 40 list for 2020. And to round out our judging panel, Melissa Cristina Marquez is a shark scientist, TV presenter for National Geographic and the Discovery Channel, and author of the upcoming book series Wild Survival. Welcome. All right, well, welcome, Emily, Melissa, and Raven. We are so excited to have you all here. All right, are you ready to hear from our slammers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No pressure, guys. No pressure. I'm so excited for this. I love that something like this exists because I didn't have anything like this when I was in college trying to learn how to work through all of these things and become a science communicator. So I'm excited to see them. It's going to be great.
Our ReachOut Science Slammers come from all over the country and are each part of one of the 12 National Science Foundation Science and Technology Centers. These are interdisciplinary research centers, which means a bunch of different kinds of scientists come together to discover something new about the world or solve some big challenges. They're working on all sorts of areas like microbiology, artificial intelligence, evolution, quantum physics, cell biology, computer science, and more.
We are good.
Okay, today's slammers come from 2 different centers. We have 4 slammers representing the Beacon Center for the Study of Evolution in Action, which brings together biologists, computer scientists, and engineers to study evolution as it happens and apply this knowledge to solve real-world problems. From Beacon, please welcome Anna, Jolene, Kate, and Miles. And we also have 2 slammers from the Center for Engineering Mechanobiology, which combines physics and biology to study mechanical forces in molecules, cells, and tissues in plants and animals. From CEMB, we have Gisca and Carrie. All right, welcome to all of our slammers. We are all very excited to hear from you. Now, if you would like to cheer on our slammers, you can send a comment at any time by going to pollev.com/Museum of Science, or you can text Museum of Science to 22333 and then send your comment. And we'll keep that information handy on the screen for you. All right, are you all ready? Let's get started with our first slammer of the evening. Our first Science Slam contender is Anna Rashki, who is joining us from Michigan State University, where she is a student connected to the Center for the Study of Evolution in Action. Welcome, Anna.
Sorry, I want everyone to take a big, deep breath in and out. Wow, look at all that carbon dioxide surrounding us now. We as humans produce a lot of carbon dioxide. We have built the world surrounding us with tons of carbon dioxide producers, so much that we're even changing the Earth's climate. But where did all of this carbon come from? We know that carbon can't be created, nor can it be destroyed, but rather it moves from the atmosphere to the ground and back in a cycle. Wait a minute, we were just talking about carbon dioxide producers, but look, we also have carbon dioxide consumers. Plants take in carbon dioxide through their green leaves and use it to grow. As they grow and eventually die, the carbon is added to the soil, acting as glue, holding all those nutrients together and keeping it healthy. This direction of carbon transfer from the atmosphere to the ground is formally known as carbon sequestration. Up until now, though, most of our farming practices have been built to produce a lot of food for us at the expense of atmospheric and soil health. We till the soil, which releases all of that carbon glue as carbon dioxide. And then instead of letting those carbon molecules inside the plants make it back into the soil, we harvest the entire thing. Oh geez, this really isn't sounding good. But what if we could design farming practices that were good for the food, but also took into account atmospheric and soil health? This would be like watching your favorite movie in your favorite spot with your favorite snack. Instead of just optimizing for one objective, we optimize for multiple objectives using multiple objective optimization, or MOO. MOO uses complex algorithms to design farming practices that grow enough food for us while taking in as much carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and returning as much of the carbon back into the soil. Using MOO, we can balance out our carbon dioxide production with our carbon dioxide consumption, improving life on Earth now and for generations to come.
All right, let's hear it for Anna. Thank you.
Nice.
Well done.
Great job. Let's check
Great
in
job.
with our judges. So first, Emily, what did you think?
I loved your energy. I feel like I was smiling throughout the whole thing because you genuinely seemed so excited about it. And that, for me, that's the best part of science communication, because it's all very human, and that's the stuff that we relate to. So I loved that. And I loved your cartoons because I personally love learning about science via cartoons. And so that resonated a lot with me too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun making them.
Great. Well, thank you. That's awesome. All right. Thank you, Emily, and our judges, and great job, Anna. Now let's take a look at slam number 2. Next up, we have Gisca Ramdita, a student at Washington University in St. Louis and part of the Center for Engineering Mechanobiology. Take it away, Gisca.
Do you know what organ is this? Yeah, this is a heart, the beautiful organ that keeps beating every single seconds of our life. When you are walking, eating, sleeping, or playing. The beating of our heart is a result of crosstalk between the electrical signal and mechanical pumping function. So you can see here, the electrical signal is going up when it was running from the upper part to the lower part. Simultaneously, the heart starts to contract and pump out the blood. Have you ever wondered how if this communication doesn't work well? It would be out of sync, right? The heart tissue could not beat in rhythmic. This disease is called arrhythmia. Do you know anyone suffer from arrhythmia? Might be yes, because it represents the major worldwide public health problem, one case in every 5 deaths in the world. While the electrical signal problem is always blamed as the common cause of arrhythmia, there can be other causes too. One of them is related to the structure of the heart. Let's talk more about it. The right part's function is to pump the blood to the lungs, the closest organ to the heart itself, while the left part is responsible to pump out the blood throughout our whole body. That's why the left part has way much thicker wall than the right part to be able to make bigger pressure to send all of the blood supply to all our blood vessels. But hey, how if the heart wall is too thick? Let's see from this elastic rubber. It's so flexible, easy for me to squeeze it. How about this one, a thicker one? Oh, it's hard for me to squeeze it. It's so stiff. This might be what happened with the heart with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. When the blood pressure is high, the wall is getting thickened, and it may fail to pump enough blood to our body. It may be a severe problem for young athletes and apparently healthy athletes too. So in our lab in WashU, we are interested to learn how the stiffness could affect and be a trigger for heart disease. We hope we'll be able to make better idea and also suggest a better treatment for patients with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Thank you.
All right, let's hear it for Gisca. Thank you.
Yay!
All right, and let's check in with our judges again quick. So Raven, what did you think?
I really enjoyed your talk. I especially loved how you connected the scientific concepts to the community and talking about the broader implications of the diseases that you were referencing to society. I think it's important as scientists that we remember, we're communicating to communities. So drawing in the science to the communities and then going back to the science, just how you did in your talk was really, really awesome. I love that. Good job.
Thank you.
Great, wonderful. Thank you, Raven. And awesome job, Gisca. That was great. And now let's move on to slam number 3. Our next slammer is Miles Roberts, representing the Center for the Study of Evolution in Action. He's a student at Michigan State University. Over to you, Miles.
Have you ever seen a colorful array of apples at a store and wondered why they look and taste so differently from each other? Part of the answer is that each one was built from a unique blueprint. And those blueprints look like this. This is a model of a molecule called DNA. The real thing fits into the tiny cells of all living creatures. but this model is 60 million times larger than the real thing, so you can actually see it. Now, how could this weird structure act as a blueprint? Well, each little step in this structure acts like a different letter in the alphabet. Multiple letters together can form a word, and multiple words together can form an instruction to say, for example, give this apple green skin. But different apples obviously carry different instructions. Why is that? Well, whenever any life form reproduces, ask your parents if you want the details, they must copy their DNA and pass that copy on to their children. But during this process, sometimes cells may accidentally swap out, add, or delete letters from DNA. That can change the meaning of DNA's instructions, and we call those errors mutations. On the surface, mutations might sound bad. However, most mutations actually don't alter the instructions in DNA. And those that do sometimes give life forms cool new traits. I've been trying to find and understand the interesting mutations in DNA. However, that's not easy because the instructions in DNA are not logically organized. They're organized much like how a pile of jumbled up puzzle pieces may be organized. In other words, there's no neatly ordered recipe that you can read when you just look at DNA. But there is hope. One way we can learn why life forms like apples often differ from each other is to use, wait for it, math to look for mutations that usually occur in individuals with some cool quality. A particular mutation, for example, only occurs in the DNA of apples with green skin. That might be because that mutation causes or contributes to green skin. We call this approach a genome-wide association study, or GWAS for short. Genome here just refers to the collection of all the DNA in a cell. And this approach is so cool, its name can be rearranged to spell swag. Better yet, this approach is not just limited to apples. Scientists are also using it to find mutations that cause dogs to be incredibly adorable, or the mutations that cause tomatoes to generally taste disgusting and like styrofoam. But overall, this approach has taught us that mutations underlie much of the incredible diversity we see in life. In a very real way, these quote-unquote errors in DNA are part of what make all life forms, from apples to us, unique. Thank you.
Yay.
Yay, let's hear it for Miles. Thank you. All right, now, Melissa, what are you thinking?
I was cracking up the entire time. That was so great. Might have to disagree with you about the tomatoes though, but yeah, that was amazing. I mean, you took something so complex and made it easy to digest for everybody in the audience, and you really related it back to us and how that affects our everyday life. So amazing job, amazing energy. You did great.
Thank you. It means a lot. It was an honor to come here and tell that story.
Great. Well, thank you, Melissa. And nice job, Miles. Thank you again. All right. Now we're going to move on. Let's hear from slammer number 4. Heading into the second half of our slams this evening, Kate Scotchlis is our next contestant, and she is a student joining us from Michigan State University, and she's affiliated with the Center for the Study of Evolution in Action. Welcome, Kate.
In my last semester of college, something really scary happened to me. My hair began falling out in large handfuls. I was running a fever all the time, and I developed swollen, painful joints. Something was really wrong. My immune system was supposed to be fighting off germs, but instead, tests revealed it was attacking my own body. You see, usually immune systems can tell the difference between an intruder, like a virus, and our own bodies that they're protecting. This is a process called self, non-self discrimination. Did you know that computers do self non-self discrimination as well. They ask, is this a safe app that's running, my app, or is it a computer virus? When my immune system failed me, I became curious about how they work in both humans and computers. One of the things I learned is that immune systems evolved over millions of years to be as strong as they are. Now, I use evolution to build immune systems for computers based on the ones in our bodies, and hopefully even better. So let's say, for example, you're stuck in quarantine playing Minecraft. You're having a great time, but something feels like it's missing. And then you see it, the perfect mod.
Ooh, this looks really cool.
So you download the mod and are trying it out.
Oh no, what happened?
Your computer thought it was Minecraft code, but it was a virus. The computer's defenses failed at self, non-self discrimination. While your computer is being fixed, Microsoft's developers are working on a security update to make sure this virus is correctly recognized in the future. It's released with the next Minecraft update and you're back in the game. You're having a great time, but things are getting pretty old again, and then you see it.
Yes, a hoverboard mod.
After downloading the mod, you get back to building.
Oh no, not again.
You thought the developers fixed Minecraft to protect it against attacks, so what happened? This is the ongoing arms race between hackers who evolve new attacks and developers who update computer defenses. In biology, this process is called coevolution. Germs evolve to avoid recognition by immune systems, and the immune systems evolve to recognize new types of germs. In this example, a human created a security fix to defend the computer. But what if computers could figure out how to defend themselves? This is what I'm working on. Criminals will always find new ways to attack computers, and it's not just video games. All of our computers need to be kept safe, from our cell phones and laptops to the computers controlling our cars and even military defense systems. I evolve computer immune systems to withstand attacks, while also evolving those attacks to occur in new ways. This coevolution should result in computers that are better at self, non-self discrimination. Now I'll be right back. I just saw a new Minecraft mod that I have to download.
Okay, great. Well, let's hear it for Kate. Thank
Yay.
you. And now we'll go back to Emily. Any thoughts?
Oh my gosh, it was just like so entertaining to watch. I think for me, when it comes to science communication, I love using the style that you did, where you jump around to different styles of media, because people have such short attention spans that it's so helpful to go from just directly talking to the camera to using props to using a video that I think you said you had recruited your PI's son for, which
Yes.
is genius. He was wonderful. And so, yeah, it had my attention the whole time. I thought it was very adorable and informative, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Emily, and very well done, Kate. Thank you. Now we're going to move on. Let's take a look at slam number 5. Now we'll hear from Carrie Miller, representing the Center for Engineering Mechanobiology as a student at Washington University in St. Louis. Take it away, Carrie.
Today, I'd like to talk to you about the physical limits of love. So before I get into it, I just want to take a second for you to close your eyes and imagine that you're a cell on the surface of your skin. Now, what happens to you when water touches the surface of the skin? Do you absorb all that water and swell up and explode? Well, if what happens when we wash our hands is any indication, then the answer is no. You survive that encounter with the water really without any issue at all. And that's because our bodies and our cells have adapted to respond to and protect themselves from physical forces. Now imagine that you're a plant cell, so you live outside. What forces would you feel then? Would you feel wind or rain or pressure from the soil? Well, that's what I'm most interested in my research, is how the cells of the food we eat, the cells of plants, just like us, have adapted to respond to and protect themselves from physical forces. So with that, I'd like to tell you a story, and it's actually a love story between the pollen grain, which is the male part of the flower, and the pistil, which is the female part. Now, these two want to come together, fall in love, and produce a seed. And the pollen grain is a very unique cell. It's actually able to travel from where it's first developed all the way to the pistil. And this is a really treacherous journey. It faces a lot of different physical forces on the way, things like wind or extreme temperatures or rain. And the pollen grain is an individual cell. It doesn't have neighbors that it can borrow sugar from. So to make this journey, it will actually dry down and basically hibernate the whole way there. But then once it reaches the pistil, it needs to wake back up, right? So it can fall in love. And so part of that waking up process involves a rehydration. And so it's taking up water. But how is the sleeping pollen grain going to know how much water to take up if it's asleep? Well, there's actually a secret player here that keeps it from taking up too much water so it doesn't explode, or taking up too little water. And so in the outside of the pollen grain, there sits a protein. This is the secret player. And this protein is called a mechanosensitive ion channel. And as water starts to enter into the pollen grain, there's a tension that's felt in the outside of the grain, in the membrane. And this protein is able to sense this tension. And as the tension gets too high, this protein will actually release a small amount of the internal contents of the cell. And by doing that, it will actually slow the influx of water and keep the cell from overexpanding and from exploding. Similar to how the safety valve on your Instant Pot pressure cooker works. It keeps your Instant Pot from exploding, right? And so with this protein in place, the pollen grain is able to hydrate to just the perfect amount, fall in love with the pistil, and produce the seed, which becomes the next generation of plants, which is the food that we eat. So the next time you're having a snack, you can think about the pollen grain and the treacherous journey that it took to bring that to you. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear it for Carrie. Thank you.
Yay!
And so, Raven, can we hear your thoughts?
I just love how confident you are in your expertise. I can tell you know so much about your subject area, and I'm sure it was hard to get all of that in 3 minutes. So I just want to say great job. There was a lot of information there. Well done.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Raven. And great job, Carrie. Now, let's take a look at our final slam of the evening. And last but not at all least is Joane Delima, a student at Michigan State University and affiliated with the Center for the Study of Evolution and Action. Over to you, Joane.
Hi, I'm Joline, and I would like to welcome you to my garden back home in the tropics. These are all pictures of flowers from my garden. Growing up and having all this diversity just outside my front door was amazing. But of course, as you know, diversity is not exclusive to my garden. We see it everywhere in all life forms. There are just so many different living things. Did you know that there were almost 30,000 species of orchids, or almost 400,000 species of beetles? The most amazing thing, though, is that all this diversity is tied together by one simple origin story: evolution. Evolution is the process by which living things gradually change over time. And this story is the same for all organisms. We all descended from one common ancestor. The simplicity amidst this complexity is delightful, and was especially so for a lazy student who was elated that she did not have to memorize a new story for every new organism. I mean, can you imagine the horror? My mind, though, was blown when I realized that not everybody thought this way. Students think that evolution works differently in different organisms. They give different responses if you ask them about evolution in plants or animals, in something familiar like a cheetah, or something unfamiliar like a salamander, in something that's lost a trait, such as flight, in birds, or gained a trait, such as pesticide resistance, in locusts. And they fail to see the bigger, simpler picture of how it's all just the same story and end up having the wrong idea that each organism has its own different story and thereby creates so much more mental work for themselves remembering all these stories. So now I try to understand what these differences are. I ask students to explain how they think different organisms evolved. Understanding how students think, understanding the patterns in their mistakes and their contradictions will help us to understand why they think that way. And this will help us to address some common problems and improve our teaching, not only of evolution, but other scientific concepts as well. And then, when students see all this diversity around them, while they're perhaps walking through a garden as diverse as mine, they will not only be amazed at the complexity in the diversity, but marvel at the simplicity that unites it all. Thank you.
All right, great. Let's hear it for Jolene.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
That felt like a warm hug. That was such a nice, I love that. That was great.
Great, thank you. So Melissa, any thoughts after that?
I thought that was amazing. Your garden is absolutely gorgeous, and the way that you just communicated all of that, just like Emily said, it did kind of feel like a warm hug, like I was sitting down and chatting with a friend about what they were observing in the world. So absolutely perfectly done. Great job.
I agree.
Great, wonderful. Thank you, Melissa and Emily and Raven. And nice job, Jolene. Thank you. And great job to everyone, all of our slammers tonight. And now to all of our judges, do you have any comments before you go off to deliberate?
It's gonna be hard.
If everyone is talented in their own way, and the decision will be hard, but I just want to say everyone did a great job.
Yeah, it was clear that you all put a lot of like heart and effort and thought into this. And so, yeah, you all did absolutely wonderful. And I don't know how we are going to choose.
I don't know either. You definitely have a tough decision ahead of you. Well, thank you. All right, judges, off you go. We're going to send you off to deliberate. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Now it's your turn. To vote for your favorite science slammer, go to pollev.com/Museum of Science. That's POLLEV.com/Museum of Science and select their name from the options there. Or if you'd rather vote by text message, text Museum of Science to 22333 and then send us the number on the screen next to your favorite slammer. Those numbers are 1 for Anna, 2 for Gisca, 3 for Miles, 4 for Kate, 5 for Carrie, and 6 for Jolene. The clock is counting down from 5 minutes, so make sure to get those votes in. 2 minutes to go on the clock. Keep those votes coming. You can vote online by going to the web address on the screen, pollev.com/Museum of Science, or you can text Museum of Science to 22333 and send us the number next to your favorite slammer. Those numbers one more time are 1 for Anna. Now it's your turn. Just 1 more minute to vote. And we are done. Let's tally up those votes. All right, our audience voting has now ended, and we are ready to announce our audience choice winner. Are you all ready? And the winner is Joane. You will be advancing to the finals on May 4th. Congratulations, fantastic job. So Joane, can you unmute yourself for me and tell me how you're feeling? What are you thinking?
Actually, this is awesome. I'm really happy. Thank you everybody for voting for me. And in the words of my people, Devaran Guru.
Thank you. Yeah, you did such a great job. So let me ask you really quickly, Joane, what inspired you to do this, to enter the slams?
Actually, it was just an email from Beacon, and they were like, you should do this. And I was like, okay, why not? Let's try. And what I found really helpful was those workshops you had. Those were the ones that actually gave me the confidence to enter this. And so thank you for organizing those workshops. Those were really helpful.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for that, Joane. So for our audience, a lot of these slammers that are here tonight, or I think all of them, attended some workshops with us to learn about science communication before entering the slam. So this is great. We're so happy to have you. And how did you come up with the idea for your slam?
Well, it's basically based on my dissertation research. So I research how context influences the way students reason about evolution, to try and figure out which are some problems in context and how we can improve teaching evolution, because it's such a fundamental concept. You know, there's a famous quote that says there's nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. And so,
yes.
Therefore.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Joane. Congratulations, wonderful job. And now we're also welcoming back our judges who are done deliberating. So hello, judges, welcome back. And so for each night of the slams that we have, we're gonna have a different judging spokesperson. So tonight it's Emily. So Emily, as our spokesperson for tonight's event, do you have any comments before you announce who our other finalist is?
Yes, I mean, I like I said before, you all did such a great job. The energy that you brought to it, I love that you shared how genuinely excited you are for the stuff that you're working on and the stuff that you study. When people use different style of mediums and communication styles to tell us your story, that was really effective. When you use props, that was really effective. We loved all of yours. So this was a very hard decision. We had to go through one by one. So good job to everybody.
All right, great. Well, thank you. And so now, Emily, tell us who is our second finalist tonight?
All right, the second finalist is, very long drum roll, Gisca Ramdita. Yay!
Thank you.
Oh my goodness! Congratulations, Gisca. So
Thank you.
What are you thinking?
I'm so happy because, yeah, I feel like this workshop and also the competition itself, it's like a long journey, but I had so much fun. And yeah, the video that was my background is also a hard work from my husband. So it's like a family teamwork.
Well, we loved your presentation for a number of reasons. One, you were clearly very passionate about this. Like Raven said, you connected it to broader health implications in the community. We loved your use of the space where you'd come close to the camera and far away. It felt like you were in a completely different room. We loved your props. You mixed up your communication styles so that, you know, our attention was held the entire time, and you just did a really, really wonderful job. Congratulations.
Great job.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations, Gisca. And so Gisca and Joane, congratulations. You will each advance to the ReachOut Finals on May 4th with the chance to win our $1,000 grand prizes. And you will also be awarded a $250 stipend to continue improving your entries. And so also congratulations to all of our slammers who presented tonight. You all did such an amazing job. We are so happy to have you here. And you will all receive $150 stipends to thank you for working so hard to share your science with all of us. So please, everyone, join me in thanking and congratulating all of our amazing slammers tonight. Thanks for giving us all some insight into your fascinating fields of science. Let's all give them a real and virtual round of applause. Wonderful job. Thank you so much. And thank you to our incredible panel of judges who have generously shared their vast experience communicating science across the country and the world, online and on TV. So let's please join me in thanking them, and I'll give them a chance to all say goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for having us. Good job.
I've learned a lot from all of you today. So thanks for inspiring us and teaching us.
Thank you so much. All right, and thanks so much to all of you for joining us tonight. And thank you to our sponsors,